What's the story, Morning Glory? What's the word, Hummingbird? Thank you so much for clicking on my channel and for joining me for this review of 90 Day Fiance Love in Paradise Season 4 episode, I don't know what, Suns Out, Buns Out. So let's get started first with Aaliyah and Shawn. So this is the day after Aaliyah's birthday slash engagement party because at her birthday party, Shawn proposed to her and Aaliyah said yes. So this is the day after all of that happened. And Shawn, Aaliyah, and Jackie, they want to go on a jungle tour. So on their way there to the jungle tour, it got a little bit uncomfortable in the car because Jackie, who is Aaliyah's one of her really good friends, started asking questions about how Shawn will take care of Aaliyah financially. What steps or what procedures does Shawn have in place to make sure that Aaliyah is provided for even after Shawn's death? So Shawn kind of dodges the question by saying, well, I just got engaged yesterday, so I'm not really thinking about what's going to happen or what's going to occur after my death. I'm still basking in the glow of being newly engaged. So I haven't thought about it, but rest assured, I am going to make sure that Aaliyah is taken care of. So Shawn has three children, and I guess Jackie and Aaliyah are worried that if anything happens to Shawn, all of his entire estate is going to go to his kids, and Aaliyah will be left with nothing. So they're hoping that there's going to be some type of written agreement in place to make sure that Aaliyah is entitled to something. So I thought that, oh, and by the way, Jackie, the friend, was doing most of she was asking most of the questions, and she was not beating around the bush at all. She was going direct. Her questions were very direct, very straightforward. She wanted some damn answers on how you're going to take care of my girl if anything happens to you. So they get to the waterfall, and at the waterfall, Shawn takes a whole bunch of pictures of Aaliyah. And, she's posing in front of the waterfall, really pretty pictures. And after the photo shoot, they sit down and they start talking about Shawn and Aaliyah's relationship again. Shawn tells Aaliyah that if you have any issues with me, you need to come to me directly. In other words, don't send your friend to ask me these questions, these very personal questions. If you have any issues, I need you to come talk to me. And Aaliyah was like, okay, then let's talk about it. She says, I'm very worried when I go to the United States because Shawn's plan is to take Aaliyah to the United States and they can start their new life there. And Aaliyah was like, well, I am worried that if anything does happen to you and we've created this life together, that I am going to be left with nothing. I'm going to be penniless. I'm going to be homeless. And so, yeah, I worry about that because you're the one who has all the money. So therefore, you have all the power and you have all the control in the relationship. And sometimes I feel like I'm not heard, or I'm worried that I'm not going to be heard. I'm worried that, I'm going to lose my power, lose my voice in this relationship. And now that Aaliyah is 25 years old, and I'm so glad that she did speak up for herself. Now that she's 25 years old and she's going to be going to a new country with this man who, I mean, they don't really they really haven't spent that much time together. Their relationship for the majority of the time has been long distance. And now they're going to be getting married and moving to this new country, and she's going to be living with this man day to day. Now that she's 25 years old, she's going to have to put her big girl panties on and start thinking and acting and talking like an adult. Because if you are worried, Aaliyah, that this man is going to take over your whole entire life and you're not going to have any say so on anything, now is the time to do something about it. Now, because of the big age difference between them, Shawn is in his 60s, Aaliyah just turned 25. Yeah, automatically, just by that alone, and the fact that he's older, the fact that he's more established, the fact that he's has more money, obviously that puts him in a position of control over her. Now, Shawn, in his defense, he was like, hey, have I ever done anything to you to make you think that I didn't care about your opinion, that I didn't put your best interest forward? Anything you want, I give you. I provide for you. Whatever you want, I give it to you. So what is making you think that once we get married or once we move to the United States and I'm going to completely, take over and control you and stifle you and prevent you from speaking in your mind and doing your own thing? So I don't know what's going to happen because marriage can change people. Living together can definitely change people. You're going from long distance to living together in one space. Yeah, they're going to see the real Shawn and the real Aaliyah in one another. So I think that Aaliyah needs to grow up. She's going to be forced to grow up real quick. Okay, he's not going to be a distant sugar daddy sending you money every month. You're going to be living with this man and dealing with all of his issues. So Aaliyah needs to understand that now she has entered the world of adulthood and she needs to act as such. And if she feels like she can't handle it, if she feels like she doesn't have the strength or the power or doesn't have the capabilities of adulting with this man, then maybe Aaliyah, you need to stay right there in Brazil and maybe this relationship needs to end right here and now. Because once you go to the United States, um, you're kind of like stuck like Chuck with this man. So I don't know if Shawn is controlling. People think that automatically because of the age difference he must be controlling. I don't know that. Um, but if Aaliyah is sensing that that's what's going to happen, that he's going to want to stifle her and silence her, and it's going to be like, do as I say, and it's my way or the highway. If there's going to be that type of situation, if she gets any inkling, then she needs to seriously consider not going through with the wedding and staying, keeping herself in Brazil. I don't know what else to say. Obviously, for those of us looking, on the outside looking in, it looks weird that you have, at the time that they met, when Aaliyah was still Douglas, at the time that they met, you have this older man with this very much younger boy, and you kind of wonder, like, what's really going on here? Now you have this older man with this very much younger girl, and we're still wondering, like, what is really like, Shawn? Why can't you find someone your own age within your own age group? Why are you chasing after this very, very young person? Like, what's really going on here, Shawn? Because there's a language barrier, there's a huge age difference, there's definitely an economic difference, there's probably an educational difference as well. What do you see in this very young person that you feel like can satisfy you or fulfill you as a 60 something year old man? Like, real talk. Real talk. Automatically, when we see these type of age gaps, especially when the older person is the one with all the money and they have a certain amount of financial comfort, I guess you could say, we automatically think, okay, this is a sugar baby, sugar daddy type of situation. The younger person is just using the older person for money. The older person is using the younger person for Lord knows who knows what. So it looks suspicious. Okay. I'm trying to give these people the benefit of the doubt that they've got something real going on, but it looks heavily, heavily, heavily suspicious. If I was if I was Aaliyah's mom and I met Shawn for the very first time, like the way she did at the birthday party, I would have pulled my child to the side and we would have had a very serious conversation. And I would have been like, I don't think so. I don't think so. No way, no how am I going to allow my 25-year-old run away somewhere with a 60 something year old man. That's just my personal opinion. So I don't know what Aaliyah's going to do, but Aaliyah's going to have to do some growing up real quick. Moving on to Luke and Malene. So Luke he's got a few more days left in Colombia, and Malene tells us that for his remaining days there, she wants to keep it peaceful and copacetic. She doesn't want to argue about prenuptial agreements and everything else. So she wants them to get along and she wants them to really have fun and just enjoy each other. So they decide to go salsa dancing, and they go to this place. I guess it's like a restaurant slash club. I don't know, because when they were there, nobody else was dancing but them. I couldn't hear any music, but Malene was trying to teach Luke how to salsa. Of course, he failed miserably. It was so horrible that a stranger approached them and kind of like was like, "Excuse me," moved to the side, and he began to dance with Malene, and they did their little number, and it was really fun and cute. And then they both tried to teach Luke how to dance, and it was still a hot mess. So moving on from there, it's the next day, and they are packing up their bags to go on a mini vacation. They're going to this other town. And they're going to go glamping, which is camping, of course, upscale camping. They're going to be staying in this dome tent. Everything is very, a little bit luxurious. And all of your amenities are there. You're not going to be sleeping out in the woods. You're going to be sleeping in this dome tent. It looks really nice. It's really comfortable. And it reminds me of the same type of glamping trip that Jamie and Chris took, and they had that big, big argument. Um, I wonder if it's the same place. So it's day two of the little mini vacay, and Luke tells us that before, first of all, Luke is going to have his friend, I forgot his friend's name. His friend is going to be coming to visit them in this glamping area. And the friend has a girlfriend who is really good friends with Malene. But Malene and the friend are really, they're not really seeing eye to eye because this friend feeds Luke information about Malene. And before, he had told Luke that there were these rumors going around that Malene was seeing someone else, that she was involved with another man in Colombia. When Luke confronted Malene about it, she adamantly denied it and said it wasn't true. So I guess Luke decided to give her the benefit of the doubt. So now the friend is going to be is going to be coming to visit them, him and his girlfriend. And Luke tells us that his friend has already forewarned him that, hey, when I come up there to see you, I've got some information on Malene to tell you. And so we're like all waiting on pins and needles. Like, what does he have to say about Malene? Now, of course, when we saw the clip for next week's episode, it doesn't look too good for Malene. It looks like, these rumors are coming back again about her possibly being unfaithful to Luke. So we'll see how that goes down. Luke and Malene, to be honest with you, I don't really. It's another situation where it's like I don't understand what the connection is between them. First of all, Madeline is extremely young, and not only is she young, but she acts very, very young. Now she is obviously, she's only 19 years old. Okay, so granted, she has the right to act immature and to be silly and to be super. That's fine. She's only 19 years old. It really looks like Luke is only using her for very surface type reasons. Like he's only with her for very superficial type reasons. Obviously, he has no respect for her thoughts, her opinions, zero respect. He's one of those people where obviously he's the one in control of the relationship. It has to go his way or no way. And when he told her, because they got into an argument over breakfast, where they were talking about the relationship, and the relationship went absolutely left. First of all, he talked about all the sacrifices that he has made to be with her. And Madeline put him in his place real quick. She's 19 years old. She does act really silly at times, but when she wants to be heard, she definitely makes sure that he hears her because she tells him what sacrifices. And he's like, I left everything behind just to come see you and just to come spend time with you in Colombia, blah, blah, blah. And she tells him, hold up, you chose to come here. I didn't make you come here. You chose to come here. You chose to give up everything in America to come over here. You decided to quit your job and to do this and to do that. All these are all the decisions that you made voluntarily. I never made you do any of that stuff. Then he talks about, well, I'm the best opportunity for you. That's a joke and a half. And she's like, you're the best opportunity for me? She's like, you think I'm with you for your money? Which now we know he doesn't have any. She's like, you think I'm with you for your money? I'm only with you for your money. And so he says some really off the wall things to her. You're the best. I'm the best opportunity for you. Like, you're so full of yourself, Luke. You're so full of yourself. You're not the best opportunity for a lot of women. So I don't know. I don't know what Luke, I don't know what Madeline sees in Luke. Obviously, I can tell what Luke sees in her. I really need to know what she sees in him. I think that, he had misled her into thinking exactly how wealthy he really was. Because if you really had that kind of wealth, then you losing your job would not put you in a uh, put you like in this financial difficulty that you're in, where you're struggling to start businesses, you can't even move to Colombia like the way you plan to because you can't afford to live in Colombia. You moved back in with, I think he moved back in with his mom or something. If you really had it like that, even when you're making six figures a year, if you really truly had it like that, Luke, you wouldn't be struggling right now. You would have built up a really nice nest egg to still be able to do all the things that you want to do until the next opportunity comes along. So I think he totally misled her. He wanted her to think that he was Mr. Rich guy, Mr. Deep Pockets, when he's, so far from that. So I'm hoping that Madeline is gonna, see the light and drop him. Let's talk about people who really need to be dropped. Kyle and Annie. So it is the tail end of Kyle's trip in Malta, and Annie has decided that she wanted to introduce Kyle to her best friend, who's also from Germany, because Annie is originally from Germany. If I was Annie, I would not introduce Kyle to a damn person in my life because I'd be so embarrassed by him. I would not want anyone in my real life to know that this is the person that, I've hitched myself to. But here we are. So her friend is in Malta, and they go to a little outside restaurant or outside cafe, and Kyle asks the friend if she's from Germany, and she says yes. And then he says, I have a 6-year-old German kid. And then he brings up his donation, how he donates his sperm all over the world. He loves to talk about this, which is very troubling. That you enjoy talking about how you're impregnating women all over the world. You're not going through a clinic. I don't know if he divulged to her that he was doing natural insemination or not, but the fact that you're not going through a clinic, you're just it's some A should have had a talk with him and said, can we limit the conversation on your donation? Okay, can we please limit that? But he loves to talk about it. It's like that's his claim to fame is the fact that he's, like haphazardly going around the world impregnating women. That's his claim to fame. He thinks this is a flex. He thinks this is worthy of talking about. This is worthy of revealing to people. And it's disgusting. It's sick. It's nasty. But for whatever reason, he thinks that he is like looking good in front of people. I don't know, raising his esteem in front of people by talking about these things. I don't know. So he says he's got a 6-year-old German kid. And then he talks about his donation, his lifestyle of donating his sperm all over the place. The friend asks, why don't you go through a clinic? Okay. Where it's safe, where they do tests, where things are anonymous. What are you doing? But anyways, he says, I don't go through a clinic because it's very cold, it's very clinical, and it's very impersonal. You're just a number on a vial. So people are supposed to feel better that you are hopping into bed with hundreds of women. That's supposed to be better without protection, where no one is testing themselves, no one is asking for test results. That's better than going through a clinic where things are sterile and there's professionals in place to do things professionally. I don't know how he bamboozled this friend to all of a sudden at the end of the dinner, she ended up liking him and thought that there was a connection between Annie and Kyle and encouraged Annie to continue on with this relationship. I don't know because he was really trying, and to me, it was so fake. But Kyle was trying so hard, I guess, to impress the friend, to show the friend that he was a really good boyfriend. So he was acting very attentive, very caring to Annie during this dinner. He was being affectionate with her because one of the issues that he struggles with is being affectionate. So he was being affectionate with her. He was physically touching her, acting like he was like this, the world's greatest boyfriend, but it was all an act. It was so fake. And I don't know how the friend and Annie didn't see right through it because at the end of the dinner, even Annie was like, I think I'm going to give Kyle a chance. I think there's something there between me and Kyle. There's something about him that makes me want to go further with him. And I thought that these women, they seem educated. They seem very well put together. Annie and her friend, they seem, well traveled. Like I said, educated, intellectual. I don't know how this creep was able to bamboozle them. But anyway, he did. So moving on from there, they go back to his little apartment that he's renting. Annie tells us that she found a person that she can connect with and love in Kyle. Um, they sit down on the couch. They can't even sit on the couch without being like a whole thing. They sit down on the couch, and it was extremely awkward. They didn't know how to physically fit their bodies together not fit their bodies together, but like he wanted to lean into her, she wanted to lean into him. They couldn't quite figure out how to sit together. But anyways, that she asks him, "Why haven't you ever been in a real relationship?" And he says it's hard for women to like him. He says, believe it or not, it's really hard for women to like me. I believe it, Kyle. it's blatantly obvious why it's hard for women to like you. Annie believes that Kyle went into sperm donation so that he could be wanted, that this was his way to connect with women and his way to feel wanted. I don't know, and I really don't care about the psychology behind why Kyle went into sperm donation, other than he just wanted an excuse or he wanted to justify sleeping with a whole bunch of different women. But then he talks about the women that he sleeps with. Like I said, if you go Google him or go YouTube Kyle, you're going to hear the comments and the commentary and the deep dives that people have done on this guy. And it's nothing romantic. Like he tries to make it look romantic, or he tries to romanticize what he does, or he tries to put a spin on it to make it seem, oh, I'm just this poor guy who was never wanted by women and now finally. It's not like that. He's a creep. He's a predator. Him and his friend he has a friend who does this. They go around impregnating women all over the world, and they call themselves swimmers. That alone should make you want to run for the hills, that these men call themselves swimmers. But anyway, so then, like one thing leads to another. And I don't know what Kyle was expecting, but Annie was like, well, we can cuddle. Okay, I give you permission to cuddle with me, but that's it, nothing more. Girl, I don't know how you could even want to be under the same roof with this man, let alone to be so close to him where your skin and his skin is touching. It's disgusting to me. It's absolutely foul. Thank you so much for joining me. I really do appreciate it on your way out. Please don't forget to rate the video if you like this content. Please subscribe to my channel, and I'll definitely talk to you later.